If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
The blah blah blah.
Sending out good vibes.
The blah blah blah.
Good vibes.
Blah
Good vibes.
blah. The blah blah blah.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica Show. Coming at you on a weird day, kind of getting back into the swing of things over here as we sort of settle back in after some traveling, hunting season thing.
Sickness.
A bunch of hunting. There was some sickness. Then there was the trip to the Azores, which was it's been hard to record for a little while, but we expect in the next 2 weeks we'll sort of settle back into the regular, which has now become the Tuesday release of the show. This one will come out on Saturday, and then I think the next one comes out on a weird day, and then it's back in the rotation. Or actually, maybe the next one's just next Tuesday, and then it's back.
Not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. Yeah.
So we maybe missed a show in there somewhere, but there's plenty of extra ones. If you're going to run the numbers, we're still ahead of schedule where we'd be on a week-to-week basis. So
Right.
we can still say we never missed a week. Anyway, gonna be a good show. We got Benton Ryer. Just did the show earlier today.
Ryer, not Ryer.
Ryer, not Ryder. Ryer. It's a fun one. He's over in Japan having a time. And we did some Japanese thing at the end that is a healing thing, I think.
Yeah,
right?
he did the purification ritual at the end, so you can listen to this at any time in the future, and you'll have that benefit. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, but he healed Maria's migraine. Like, we were going to go to the hospital. It's been a problem for day upon day upon day. Like, it's she had it back at a 10, and we're like, what are we going to do? Do we go back to the hospital? They can't really do much for her anyways in the hospital, but sometimes it's a little bit more comfortable than being at home if she can get some fluids in her and stuff. But anyways, he did it. We went on a video call with him, and like, her migraine left instantly. It was really weird. So, this whole conversation was interesting because I had experienced that previously to it. So it's pretty fascinating. So you can find his work at esotericshinto.com. Also YouTube at Benton Ryer. He does a nightly Shinto MISOGI to help people shake off the spiritual static of our age. Live session works like a quiet tide, drawing hidden impurities to the surface so the heart and the land can breathe again. He carries what he calls the light of Amaterasu beyond shrine walls and national borders. The light is not a title, but it is not for sale, that light. It is a reminder that the sun rises for everyone, that renewal begins with sincere practice, not ceremony. So, yeah, it's pretty fascinating. So I might as well just mention his book now, too. It's MISOGI no MICHI, The Way of Purification. Very simple, short book. It's really, really good read. Makes a lot of sense logically as well. Kind of like, I don't know, it seems like the foundation of healing. It feels like it's like getting back to just like clean your system out, not like physically, not like detox type stuff, but just like purify the channels.
Yeah, it was a fun chat. That's a good one. He's a very soft-spoken cat. This is a good chat. We had fun. So if people want to skip ahead, of course, there's always a timestamp in the show notes, so they could just scoot ahead and be done with it. And but then you'll miss all the lazy rambling. Some people say the best part of the show. It's been called the best part of the show. You decide. But always a timestamp in the show notes. It's cold here. Proper winter has set in.
What is going on with your roads over there? I'm seeing all these like social media posts about your city over there, and people are like 10-car pileups on these side roads. I'm like, what's going on there? People losing it in the snow, or are these just weird storms where there's lots of frozen what do they call it again? Ice storm? Like, is it sort of an ice storm, like
Well,
freezing
there's always
rain,
some
or
ice at the beginning, you know? Well, I mean, there's always just a bit of ice. It's
because
just,
it thaws and then freezes and thaws and freezes?
yeah, it sort of melts in while it's falling. I mean, but first of all, I'm like 45 minutes away from the outskirts of the city. So I don't know if consider it my city. I was in the city 2 days in a row. And during the storm, I had to go pick up kiddo. So the traffic was pretty terrible. I wasn't there in the morning when the traffic was really bad. Basically from Chestermere, everything just sort of gets fucked up. And yeah, I believe it. I mean, you can just see that just by the behavior, even a lot of the big rigs, the way they're operating. Like there's a dude hauling 2 trailers and he's just like passing me. And I'm driving my truck in 4-wheel drive. So I'm like already probably driving faster than I'm basically driving in the ultimate winter vehicle, you know, for the roads. It's like a 4x4 truck with big tires. It's about as best as you're gonna get. A little all-wheel drive is all right. They tend to slide around a little more, but definitely
not
better
too
than
much.
a fucking 80 or 90,000 pound fucking big rig ripping down the road. It's like this guy has no comprehension that he can stop this fucking thing if he tries to. And I mean, I just like there was this truck in the ditch right at the end of my road where you turn in to go if you were going past the dump. I don't know where he was going. He must have been delivering something up that road. But he never made the fucking turn. He was going too fast. He slid right through, had the whole highway blocked off there for
A truck, like a trailer?
a big rig. Yeah.
What?
Had the whole fucking highway.
What?
I mean, it's this new thing now. When it first starts to snow, there's all these trucks smashed up all over the place because it's a bunch of their first fucking winters. I mean,
It is a new thing.
never used to be like that, man.
No, they were always the best drivers. The truckers were always the best drivers. I always thought of them as the professional drivers that always knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
In all seasons and all times. Like if they were on the road, it was somewhat safe because they wouldn't be on the road if it wasn't safe type thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like a new thing to me too. It's just like I remember that in the spring when I was going out goose hunting with Jesse, I couldn't believe how many transports were crashed and or had just pullen off the road and given up just between here and Brooks. Like 30, 40. I mean,
I'd rather they give up than try.
Yeah, me too. But even that never used to be such a thing. You know, they like always at least muscle it out to the rest stop. It wouldn't just be like fucking transport trucks blocking half of the one lane with their hazards on.
That's
true,
yeah.
Dudes running around in their sandals. But I don't know. Not my place to say. I definitely keep an eye over my shoulder and in my mirrors these days. So it's made me a more defensive driver for sure.
Yeah,
it's like, because you never know who's just going to slam into the side of you because they have no fucking idea that their brakes don't work like they did 2 months ago. I mean, we're at the point in Calgary where there's a measurable percentage of drivers that it's their first winter ever
driving trucks
and cars, you know?
Yeah.
Driving trucks and cars. I mean, I think we brought in 7% of a few million people, so that's a lot of people. So
yeah,
they're just dumping in people that have no fucking clue.
Yeah,
what it's like to drive in the winter, if drive at all. I mean,
it takes a while to learn. It takes a few years to get a handle on it.
Yeah.
I forget, like we've been driving in the winter for decades. You know,
you probably don't even know that you should have winter tires or any of this stuff. I mean, you can tell right away when you just see the cars driving around and they're just like a snowball still. It's like, keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah.
Either he's super good at it because he's just been doing it for so long, he just don't give a fuck anymore and is clear enough to see through and we're good, or it's his first time, or he's a first timer. There are other ways to tell, but I won't get into them here.
Yeah, that's not.
Da-da-da. So yeah, how you been? Is it cold there?
Yeah, it's pretty cold. Yeah, it snowed last night for the first. Like we got our first real snowfall just recently, so it's taken a while. So end of November now, and we're at first real snowfall. Kind of. It's snowy now for the first time.
-22 here.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Wow, holy shit! I wonder what it is here.
Yeah, like fucking proper cold. Like it sucks to be outside cold. -10, I can deal with. I was out hunting in -10 the other. I got to say though, it was -15 when we walked out there in the morning in the dark, and then we're like just sitting still for a while, and my fucking feet were cold. I didn't wear my heated socks because I thought it wouldn't be
That bad?
that bad. You know what? I get used to my waders, but I forget that my waders are like ultra insulated in the boots. You don't notice the cold so much. But man, I got out there in just my boots and I was fucking cold, especially because you're just standing still. It's like as soon as you can get to walking someplace and moving your feet around, they warm up pretty quick. But when you're just that whitetail hunting's a lot of sitting still.
Yeah, it's about -9 here, so it's not too bad.
But it's way the fuck colder than that here. It's fucking cold.
So you got your buddy got his first buck with you there the other day? Is that what you're gonna start talking about?
The taxidermist said that might be a record buck.
What?
Yeah. So it could be in the record books.
Wow.
I don't know how all that works. They're figuring it out. I just
What does that mean? A record buck as in like points on the
by measurements. I think they measure all the I don't know how they do it, but the taxidermist says this could be a record, so he's going to measure it and submit it. It could be a top 5 Alberta whitetail buck.
No way.
Yeah, so I just said, well, you better put my fucking name in the wherever you put it. You better put my name.
Why?
Well, because I put him onto those deer. You know, there's no way he ever finds those deer. Not that I really give a fuck. I really don't. I'm just busting his balls.
I thought you were going to say
actually busting his balls after. Yeah, I didn't even bring my gun out because I brought my gun out the one time because the lady said there might be some elk out there. I brought it, but as soon as I bring my gun out, it just like then I start shooting stuff. You know, if I got my gun with bullets in it and I start seeing deer, I'm shooting at them at like 400 yards. And when I'm with someone trying to get the first buck, I'm just gonna, you know, you got to really try and make it about them and not even have your gun or you're just stealing.
How did it happen?
Well, we went out once in the morning and shot at one and missed it, a smaller one.
Was that where we used to go, where we went when I came out there and you guys were hunting? Is it around that area?
No, there's no whitetails there. This is a different spot.
A different spot? Okay, you can't say it. It's not.
I could say it, but no one would really know where it is, and then I'm not gonna say it. But it's out in the plains.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you can find the right spots in the plains, if you know what to look for, there's just pockets of lots of animals and pockets of nuts, and where it would seem like there's
nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. So we had went out and found the spot like a week ago, and then went back there on Wednesday, and but I had to go back yesterday if we didn't get one because his season is over today. I think today, the 29th, is the last day for him. So we had gone out, seen some whitetails mixed in with the mule deer. That's the problem about where I'm hunting them. They're bigger and taste better, I think, but they're mixed in with the mule deer, which starts to get tricky when you got to identify species between deer. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to tell, but you're usually pretty far away. But we had found them, so we kind of went back to that spot. We had got some more permission, went and banged on some doors, got some more permission so we could get a little closer. Went back, took a shot at a smaller deer in the morning and missed it, and then went back for the last hour. Walked in, seen a deer, man. I had it set up so that he had his gun on my legs while he was shooting. And this deer walks right out from like 500 yards right up to like 120, walking right at us. And he goes to shoot and it click. He doesn't even have a round chambered yet or anything. I mean, I get it. I remember what it's like shooting your first fucking buck. It's like your heart's going a mile a minute. So then click, has to chamber around, and then that time this deer like goes around, comps the fence, gets sort of out of sight behind this hill. So we had to run up the side of the hill. And
so it was the one that it was the buck?
Yeah, it was. Well, we started sneaking up this fucking hill, and there's like 3 does there that are watching us, and we're kind of pinned in where you can't see what's right beyond the hill, and there's a couple different exit routes, and these does are starting to pile out. So it's like make the decision. We just got to blow the cover because they're starting to look already, you know, they're kind of like, what the fuck's going on over here? So it's like, we just got to blow the cover and get down this hill and get over the ridge line so that we can see where this buck is. So that, and honestly, at this time, I went from like being 100%, we've got this buck, because we watched the buck. He had his scope on him for fucking 5 minutes while this buck fucking, maybe 10, while this buck walks up to us from 500, 400, 300, 200, 100. Then he's standing 100 yards away broadside. That's when the click happened. So I went from being like 100%. Well, you're never 100%, but it was 99%. We got this one. Like, oh man, because now the deer are starting to spill out. They're a little bit spooked, and the whitetail don't tend to stop. They tend to just fucking bolt. So I was like, we just got to get down the hill, get your gun up on the fence where there's a split in the trees where you can see this sort of meadow that they're emptying out into. And as soon as we start sliding down the hill, there's fucking, I think 9 or 10 fucking whitetail does pop out, and they're all over the place, and they're kind of running, kind of stopping. We're behind a bunch of trees, so they don't really know what's going on, but they know there's movement. And then the fucking buck runs out, and I'm like, that's fucking him. He's right there. Fucking shoot him. And lucky enough, the buck kind of ran out and stopped to make sure that he had what I think in the end ended up being 11 does, making sure he had all them collected. So he stopped for a minute, and Sean was able to put a shot onto him, at least enough to get him slowed down. And then I think ended up putting 1 or 2 more into him, but eventually got him down. And then, I mean, I knew it was a big whitetail right away when we got up to it, because I was like, I haven't spent a lot of time hunting whitetails, but I've hunted enough to know that's the biggest one I've seen. So yeah. I mean, it was his first buck. It was big enough, so he decided to take it in and get it taxidermied. And that's when the taxidermist was like, man, this is fucking monster. This is could be in the record book. So
cool. That's awesome. Wow.
Special thanks to Darren in there.
Yeah.
But he is pretty happy. He's a happy camper. It's always fun to be with someone when they get the first deer.
Yeah.
And he put in the effort. I mean, it was a long couple of days out in the cold, but my feet were fucking frozen. Fucking frozen. So now it's winter. I mean, I don't know. I do still got an elk to find when it warms up a little bit. It's a little cold right now to be dealing with that shit, but weather's supposed to break a little bit. And I'll get back into elk hunting. I do want to sneak down to the river at some point. I don't know, maybe tomorrow morning or Monday morning. I could take a look at the weather, because the river won't be frozen and it could be loaded with ducks. I've definitely been down there this time of year when it's just starting to freeze up, and there's a shitload of mallards. So you'll see if that's a thing or not.
Cool.
Yes, sir. Yeah, what have you been up to?
Just trying to get my my voice back up to speed, kind of, and get through the sickness, help Maria through the sickness and stuff. So I did do more work on the bathroom at one point, but we didn't talk about it. I started doing the drop ceilings, and got these special panels to put in them, and it's easier than I thought. The drop ceilings, I thought it'd be harder.
You should just tile it all. Ceiling it all.
Are you kidding me? Oh, we need to get in there. We've already had like leaks coming down from the top. So
can you imagine you just finish your tile ceiling and you go smash it out?
Or if I had drywall in there, it would just seep through and stain the ceiling already. So yeah, I'm glad we're doing drop ceiling in the 2 kitchen areas, but I had to build a little bulkhead in and then do 2 ceilings to separate it out. So it's going pretty good. Yeah.
Cool.
Trying to think of what else we were doing. I was doing something else too. I was working on something else. I don't remember now. Oh, the pantry. Did we talk about the pantry?
Is the pantry done?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much done. It's functional. I mean, I haven't finished painting the outside of it yet, but yeah, it's great. Huge, heavy pantry door there just closes by magnet, and got a
bunch of shelving.
Yeah.
Filled out with food yet?
No, I haven't really reorganized everything yet. So yeah.
Pantry's full right now. The freezer could be fuller though. That's why I need that elk. One more elk. I mean, it's just settling in after a pretty busy been pretty busy around here for a while between the hunting and the CAC Ranch. Before that, Cosmic Summit, and before that, the Bonneville trip. And then, that just sort of spilled right into Azores. I feel like I've really just had something right on the horizon for all year until now, and it's finally settling down a little bit.
Yeah. And we have, I don't think we should say what the details are, but I think we could say that we have a trip coming up that we're going to put for sale fairly soon, I think. But
coming up.
Well, no, I mean, this is like a new one that we're going to.
Oh yeah, well, I think
I don't want you to say what it is though, but it's
Why
just
not?
keep. Well, I don't know, because I don't want to have somebody to come and steal it. I mean,
oh, it's too late for that. I mean, I'm hoping to have early bird tickets on sale in the next 72 hours. I think.
All right.
But first, we should mention Easter Island.
Yeah, Easter Island.
Because we're down to 7 spots left for that. That is like a cap. That's a hard cap on the way that the accommodations work there, and the way that the guiding works, and all that stuff comes together. So it's like we've got a hard limit on the amount of tickets. We can't extend it. We can't do more.
And this is Get Yourself to Santiago, right?
Get Yourself to Santiago, and we will take care of the rest. And those tickets have started moving, especially in the last week or so. A few more tickets gone. So it went from 10 left to 7 left. So just get in there, get on it. I mean,
because it's really not, this isn't like a strenuous trip either. Once you get there, it's a fairly small island, right? We're just settled into one place.
Yeah, it's pretty chill days, and it's a small place. So we'll be out for dinners together and relaxing. The days will be very filled with cool stuff, but short. We'd start at 9 and end at 3 or 4. And the other cool thing, you get to go see them southern stars. They'll probably be remarkable as well, but see some stars you never seen before. I think we're at 25 degrees south. So, definitely should see, I think we'd see the Southern Cross and all that kind of stuff, right?
And of course, all the moais, right? We'll get to see the moai. Do we get to see the half extracted moai?
All the moais and the quarry. And I think the museum might be closed right now, but definitely get to see everything else. I know our buddy, friend of the show, Greg, was just there, and he sent me a bunch of tips and a bunch of pictures. But yeah, let's check that out. There's 7 spots left. That includes all your meals, everything. You just get to Santiago, and we will take it from there. We'll take it you include your flight over to Rapa Nui.
And how long is it?
Accommodations and meals while you're there. I believe it's the 20th to the 28th.
So it's like a week, basically.
It's basically a week. That might even include the first night in Rapa Nui or in Santiago. I'd have to double check the page, but for some reason I thought it might have included that as well. So check it out. 7 spots left coming up end of March, right around the equinox. We'll be there almost right on the equinox. I think we might get there on the equinox. Possibly. I think we do. If it's the 21st. Right?
It's yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought we missed it by a day, but
I thought we missed it by a day too. That does sound more familiar.
Yeah. I mean, we tried to get it on that exact time, but I think we missed it by a day. But it is, March 20. I mean, the equinox should be 21st or 22nd, I would think. But
yeah, I don't know, but I do think that when we checked it, we were off by a day. Anyway, that is coming up. People should check that out. We got the Solstice Festival, which is going to be a good one. I think we're all out of private rooms for that, but there's still a few camping spots left. So people, if that's something you're interested in, get in that.
March 20th.
Yeah. March 20th. So that'll be June 19th to 22nd, I believe, are the dates on the Solstice thing. I'll be doing that presentation at the Solstice Festival, whatever that is. The Friends of the Serpent, I think, might be. And so that'll be a good one as well. We got a couple Randall trips. We got the Lake Chelan one. It's already on sale. I got all the stuff in the itinerary for the New York one now as well, the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, but so the one that you're saying, Lake Chelan, like we keep calling it Lake Chelan, but it's beyond the Scablands is what it's on
Yes.
the website, right?
Yeah.
Beyond the Scablands, the Cordilleran Colombian link to Cataclysm. That's what they wanted to name it.
And then the other one is the Finger Lakes, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that's coming up. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to that one. So that one's there. And the other one that we've been talking about, of course, will be in early 2027. And that is Sicily, Sardinia, and Malta. So it's like the Hypogeum, right? Is it the Hypogeum?
I think, yeah.
The Hypogeum. I mean, all the stuff. I can't ring them off the top of my head because they're some of them are hard to say. Should I try?
Sure.
Let me see. I thought I had it. So we got Aleister Crowley Abbey of Thelema, which I think is just really a rundown old place, but cool to see. I think there's still a bunch of his scratches in the wall.
Oh, wow. You get to see that. Obviously. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Montreal Cathedral, Selinunte, huge Greek megalithic temples, Cave de Cusa pillar quarries, Agrigento. See the unfinished column drums in the quarry, then the Valley of the Temples. Syracusa we're going to see. There's a cathedral there as well. There's the Ear of Dionysus, the quarries in Latomia, the Mount Etna. Supposed to see the crater of Mount Etna and a bunch of lava flows. Sardinia, we'll see the giant tombs, Kudu Viccio giant tombs, Li Logi giant's tombs, the flagship Naragi fortress, Mont Dakoti, and Neptune's grotto, weather dependent. There's a ferry in there, the Tarxian temples, the Hypogeum, and Manadra temples, and the Gigantija temples, which is the cool little take you around a little train. They take you around a little trolley. So they'll get on a trolley together and takes you around to each spot.
That's cool. And where are the big marks that Oliver always talks about? Those core drill, huge, massive core drill.
Those are the that was the Cor Casa Cave de Cusa pillar quarries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still fine tuning the itinerary, but we got sort of enough of all the highlights put together that it's going to be a good one. We learned enough lessons in the Azores where we had way too much stopping for food, and everyone was saying we're feeding them too much. So we're going to go to a late breakfast, early big dinners as a group, sort of around the daylight, but not get started early. And yeah, it should be a good one. All bus. There's some planes in there, ferry maybe.
Plus, I mean, all the cool areas in that lower southern Italy is we're going to be seeing all the cool stuff there.
It really is pretty remarkable. As I'm just like putting all the pictures together, it's like those giant tomb stuff, dude, looks to me really similar to the Göbekli Tepe stuff and the Easter Island stuff. Yeah. Just the style of carving and the old Egyptian stuff. So there's a ton of overlap. There's these weird little fairy houses on Sardinia. There's a bunch of cool stuff. And right now we're working on just putting together as many sort of special access things as we can. So that's another one of the reasons we want to put it far out so that people have time so that we have time to like get in front of us. So I'm already talking to the Hypogeum about getting our group in there sort of separately and getting into some of the different spots that you're not allowed as a regular tourist group. And it looks like there's some cool, I was looking at some of the caves in by Syracusa that were just fucking wild looking, really, really cool looking. And Oliver was talking about some walls there that have like 4 different styles of building on it. He said that's one of the coolest places he's ever been.
Wow, yeah, that'll be awesome.
So we'll have great food. That's one of the things I can tell you for sure is we've definitely slipped into you could almost call the Azores a food tour. So we're going to sort of keep that reputation up, but with less of it. One of the big problems is we lost a lot of time to lunches when you're trying to go into a restaurant for lunch and then get back out, and then it's almost time to get back into another one for dinner. So we're going to try and limit that. But that's what we did in Egypt, and I feel like it worked really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming. And the other reason we want to get it out there early is because obviously these big international 2-week trips aren't cheap. We know it's got to be a high ticket price to pull all this stuff off with the buses and the planes and the hotels, which we try and make sure they're nice hotels, especially when we're overseas, and nice big breakfast buffets and that sort of stuff. And we get it. That's somewhat out of some people's price range. So what we're trying to introduce on some of these new trips coming up that we can put far enough out that aren't imminently coming up and there's time for is where you can make your deposit. And then you can do if you made your deposit in the next couple of month or two, then you could get on the 12-month payment program where we send you a recurring payment thing on monthly thing, and you can sort of make monthly payments of whatever it breaks up into. And, you could do it on a sort of 6-month, 9-month, 12-month. We'll split it up, send you the payments, and bada bing, bada boom. You don't have to come up with all the money right now. But then all of a sudden, when the trip's time to come, because it's going to come, it still comes up quick. Trust me, we've been doing these trips long enough that I can tell you how quick they fucking sneak up on you. You always assume something's forever away. And then the next thing you know, it's like, oh my God, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So people can check that out. It'll be coming up. I mean, it'll go out to all of our contact at the cabin members and email people from over the years. It'll go out to them first for a little while so they get the first chance at it, and then it'll be just sort of on the website for sale, I'd say within a week or so. And we are going to do an early bird thing for people that if they pick up their ticket before the end of January, they'll get a small discount. So not a small discount, probably like $600-700. So a decent discount for the others. And we're still who knows, we might have some real cool announcements coming up around this trip in the future. It's already, I'm just putting this itinerary together and looking at the hotels and all that sort of stuff. It's already going to be super awesome. We're doing it probably around end of April, beginning of May, right in there. End of April, last sort of few days of April into May, and the weather's going to be fantastic. And it's going to be amazing. So stay tuned, I guess. And support the show if you're getting some value from it. America.ca/support. We appreciate you if you do this, support the show. We did get a donation today from Eric. I don't know if I can say his name or his last name because I didn't get a note, but thank you, Eric. We love you. Sent us $100. Good timing. Really is good timing. So we appreciate it. Be like Eric. Head over to America.ca/support today.
Thank you, Noble Eric. Anybody else on there?
I don't think so, no.
I got a note to read that somebody sent me a note.
If you think we did miss you, let us know because it does happen. I was trying to go back to like a week ago in my emails, and it's almost an impossible process.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope this guy's okay with me reading his email here, but I think it was because we were asking for stories and email stuff. It's pretty interesting. Hi, I've been following you guys for about a decade or so I'm sorry I haven't not to have contributed anything in a while, but both of my wife and I have lost our jobs and are living off our savings, so not much disposable income. We lived in San Fran from 96 to 2000. I used to jog across the Golden Gate every weekend, and it is where I proposed to my wife. I was a consultant at the time and traveled all over the U.S. and used to listen to Art Bell all the time. I heard this story that I have not since been able to find, that someone had a vision in San Fran of spirits moving upward to the clouds. I guess based upon when they died, that is where they headed to. So I wish I could find it for posterity. So somewhere in 1999, my wife and I went to the Golden Gate Bridge for a midday walk on a weekend. And we had not gone too far when I noticed she was not by my side. And I looked back and she looked messed up. She's a type 1 diabetic, so that is always my concern. So I asked her if she was okay and if there was anything I could do to help. She said that her chest hurt and that something had passed through her and she did not feel well. That was the weirdest thing that I'd ever heard, but she was clearly in a bit of distress, and I did everything that I could to comfort her. At the same time, I started to hear a commotion coming from the bottom area below the bridge, before the Golden Gate. I looked over and saw some poor soul laid out with a twisted body that had been serious enough to end it by jumping off the bridge over land rather than water. So we believe that when that person died, his spirit went on a path to heaven and it passed through my wife, causing her the unusual feeling just seconds after the poor soul killed himself. I've never heard of this happening before or after, but I just wanted to share this with you guys as you are more in touch with this sort of thing. She has never talked about this to anyone besides me, nor does she want to, no doubt. So yeah, what do you think of that? Interesting, eh?
It's wild.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Mikey.
That's
Mikey, longtime supporter of the show.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. And thanks for, I remember listening to Art Bell back in the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, now when I think about it, that must have been part of my whole, waking up.
It said the golden age is coast to coast, like the start of the Great Awakening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Art Bell.
Yeah.
So thank you. Send in your emails. Graham@america.com or america.ca/support. Support us if you can, when you can. Check out our audiobooks at adultbrain.ca. Of course, all the trips are at contact@thecabin.com. Other than that, guys, enjoy this chat with one and only Benton Ryer, who there also could be some tour futures with. Who knows? It came up. So enjoy the chat. We are live with Benton Ryer, all the way from Japan. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, it's been a few years, 2022. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the changes since back then. We had a pretty interesting conversation. But also we want to talk about, I think, your book, right? I don't know how to pronounce it, MISOGI no MICHI, maybe, or
yes, like the Way of Purification.
The Way of Purification. It's very interesting. I like it.
Oh, you read the whole thing?
Well, I mean, I didn't study it. I ripped through it pretty quick, but
sure, it's short.
And we have a story, and we probably should, we have a story to tell the audience. Darren doesn't even know either. So, I mean, geez, we could just start off with that. I mean, Darren, I was telling Darren yesterday I was going to take my girlfriend Maria to the hospital for her migraine. We were back to the point where we didn't know what to do. So Benton was like, "Oh, just get on the call with me." And so we get on a video call with Benton, and her migraine is gone. She's having a great day today. So unbelievable, healing experience. So thank you, Benton, for that.
You're welcome.
Was that the Way of Purification?
It is.
It was. Wow.
Yes, yes. There's a story from old Japan about a man named Abe no Seimei who was an onmyoji, which was a Japanese type of sorcerer. And he approached the imperial house, and I think it was one of the Fujiwaras who had a bad headache and couldn't get rid of it. So Abe no Seimei came in and got rid of it. And from that day forward, he was the court's diviner and healer. And he did these type of purifications. If you read the whole text, it talks about how him and others would purify entire outbreaks of entire cities with their MISOGI no kotoba, which is basically what I do now.
When was that?
And
When was that story from?
this is from, it's a 1,000 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
drawing a blank.
Yeah.
That's so articulate, but I'm drawing a blank on the
No,
actual
that's
period.
okay. No, that's okay.
It
But I
wasn't
just
the
wanted it.
Meiji. It was
It's a while
before
ago,
that.
is kind of what I
It
was
was a
getting.
very while ago.
Yeah.
Yes, 1,000 years ago, 1,000, 1,200,
Yeah. So
maybe more.
what's the difference between that and like Reiki then? I mean, because doesn't Reiki come from Japan?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So Reiki is in Japanese folklore, Reiki is mononoke. And if you know anything about that, you would know that it's sort of like a vengeful spirit. And it's also associated with Tengu, which are mountain demons. In the world's first known novel, the Tewa Genji, someone becomes very, very sick because of Mononoke inside of the court, that Heian period. Um, and it was traced back from a distance from Mononoke, which is basically Reiki. And if you look at the Japanese dictionary, the Japanese dictionary, and even if you hit translate on it, they're online, and you look up Reiki, the definition will be Tengu, Mononoke. So these ladies who go through these weekend workshops, and I guess these spiritual guru type folks, wannabes, they do these workshops, and they put in sigils within inside of their energetic body, which are gateways.
So the attunement, you're
And
talking about the attunement process?
the attunement process, yes, they're actual sigils, they're gateways, and their idea is it is connecting to universal life force energy, or how they interpret it as source. But in Japanese folklore, that's not what it was. Just because the guy who started it, who was very impatient, um, called it that and started doing it for people, doesn't mean that it's from a legitimate lineage. It was his own. From my understanding, he may have spent some time in China, and he was very, very impatient. As a matter of fact, a few years after he started practicing Reiki, I think maybe less than 5 years, he was in the dirt. He was on the way to the bank to get a loan for his house, get it refinanced, and he dropped dead. I think he's 60 years old. His heir apparent, who he trusted with the system, at the exact same age, 60 years old, he committed ritual seppuku.
That sounds bad.
Well, I mean, it is.
I'm
Ritual,
assuming that's
you,
in your call.
you commit ritual seppuku when you get tired of your life. So from what I see is, it's smarter. If this stuff was structured in a way where it was instant, it would be easier identifiable as something that was not beneficial. But because it lights up the energetic bodies and gives people a quick high, they think it's doing something healing or very, very um, authentic. However, it is lodging deep within the energetic bodies and doing um, damage from there that makes the physical body start deteriorating over time, or it um, ungrounds the practitioner or the person doing it. So they're basically just spreading impurity to whoever's around them or they're working on. And don't take my word for it. Look it up in the dictionary.
Even if their
Um,
intentions,
even
are
if the
pure.
intentions have nothing to do with it, because this is what it is. And it wouldn't be a very good trap if it was obvious.
So the way of purification seems like it's kind of like a real foundational practice or a base level, like getting back to like the simple basics of clearing the pathways, keeping everything flowing, that kind of stuff. Not
Yeah, basically. So I'm not healing anything. I am removing things that are not supposed to be there. I'm not shooting anyone with energy. I'm attacking the impurity
huh. Is this
or
is this
exercising it.
is this a pretty well known practice? Like, how did you come about?
No,
Were you
no. The
doing this when you
legend
were
of
practicing
Abe
this?
no Seimei may be well known, but it is diminished to folklore or legend, or even a con man who was able to manipulate the extremely intelligent Fujiwara clan, who controlled the emperor and the entire country for centuries through intellectual force. In other words, if he failed, it would have been his head,
Yeah.
but he never did.
So you do. You mentioned you do some group stuff, like you heal some groups physically, like in the physical world, and but you also do these online streams as well. I mean, we
I
might as
do
well get
do
into all this right now before.
well. I don't need to do. I don't have to be in person. I could do it through online, or it could even be a recording. Since so people have an idea, the obvious idea is like the sound of my voice, or there's something in it that is happening right now as they're watching the recording. However, they're present at the moment I'm doing it, because time doesn't necessarily have the same structure as we experience it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily linear. So it's
Mhm.
there for whoever wants to use it. So that recording you sent me, for example, can be used for people to heal.
And it will be long after I'm gone.
Yeah.
Assuming YouTube doesn't delete it for making false claims.
How does the mechanics of it work even then?
What do you mean?
Well, like if somebody's listening to that, it's not the sound of your voice. It's not that. It's the fact that when you recorded it, you're clearing out obstructions and you're doing your purification ritual, I guess, or whatever
All
you want to
right.
call it.
So it is an excess or a use of yin energy. And while someone is using that energy after they've cultivated it over a period of time, spirits can travel through there and take part and uh, commence that purification process, which is why people feel certain things like, oh, I felt a hand here, or I felt something reach in and pull something out. So that's how it works. And as far as spirits, there are a lot of kami. Yao Yoruzu no kami, countless kami, which is the Japanese term for earth and land spirits, heavenly, earthly, by order of Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, taking her authority and commanding purification.
So it's almost like an animistic or an animistic.
100%, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, because of the world we live in and the new age influence on spirituality, their idea is just energy. It's all energy. It's like, no, it's separate intelligences acting in a way that they sort of are almost coerced to. Some of them, but not others. They're all different. But we don't. It's not. We don't live in a world where spirits are actually actively purifying people. They have to be almost convinced, which is what the shamanism does.
What about negative? Are there spirits actively fucking with it? Is that like a problem?
Oh yeah, I mean with everyone. Absolutely. That's why we live in the world that we live in. See, gosh, the new age people, it does so much damage to, well, everything.
But
Different people
why? I mean,
or
isn't a lot of it love and light, and isn't the intentions pretty pure? Like it's because there's another pushback against the new age as well from the whole Christian perspective and everything, thinking that it's that they're trying to
well,
create this one world religion, and it's embedded itself in the UN and all this this bigger conspiracy about it too. But I think what you're saying is that just through the naivety of it, maybe that they're
it's very naive. See, they have an idea that humans are acting because humans act how they act, but we're a reflection of the unseen world already. So yeah, I mean, it's like the idea that where everyone's ascending. Let me put it this way: the highest level of influencer within those movements, they just talk. They talk, 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 talk. They talk, 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 talk. You can read 95% of what they say in a Napoleon Hill book or one of these other authors. Right? You could read It's Chicken Soup for the Soul. It's chicken soup for the soul and reassurance that everything's going to be okay. However, it's completely different than that.
well,
And
wait.
it's also a mistake to think that these folks are doing this and there's nothing going on, because there's definitely something there. And it's best to it's hard to convince people to disengage.
Well, okay, we got to slow down a bit here because
Yeah.
we have to distinguish between new age and new thought, because although there's an overlap there, like you're making references to new thought, which I don't think was originally what you meant when you said that, like, you have to be careful of the new age, because I think you were talking more about Reiki and crystals and yoga
New
and all
crystals.
this
Yeah,
like.
yoga's fine. Yoga's fine. There's nothing wrong with stretching. You're not praying to Hindu gods. It's an exercise to get the body flowing and remove the
And you go and you go through
yes,
it, and it's structured with teachers and initiations and all that. Like I
it
think that,
is, but fundamentally it undisrupts or unblocks the flow within your body. And when that happens, and when something moves and people start feeling it, they misinterpret it as something unholy, when it's really they're afraid of their own kind of energetic system. Does that make sense?
yeah. So when you talked about the original uh problem with new age, did you mean that because it was in response to Darren's question about like bad spirits or whatever, right? So are you saying
Oh
that
yeah, they're bad spirits.
these are being unleashed, or they're being, because of the naive practice of a bunch of people now in the West, that we're unleashing these powers that we don't know how to
Yes,
control?
like if it did the channeling, for example, it's a soft program to actually take over our bodies. That's the idea. These things want to take over our bodies.
For channeling, I
To
mean,
solve. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I,
that's what's happening, right?
I mean, it does seem weird to be channeling.
None of these folks have anything to say that hasn't been said before. There's nothing new. They're not inventing anything. They're not creating anything. They're just talking and writing these word salad books.
So that even the people that are getting like downloads, like legit downloads, kind of, is you don't
It's
trust
just
that
all
either.
Don't trust it. Don't
Yeah.
trust it.
Yeah.
It's not helping anything.
Right.
It's not helping anything.
What is
So,
helping? How do you take that sort of to the application stage where it is helping?
well, so the issue is that everyone wants such a quick fix that they will do that instead of doing a meditation retreat in Tibet or Thailand where you are sitting there for 8 or 9 hours a day. If they want to get to that point where they teach you how to um, differentiate different types of spirits and entities and what not to do and how to ground yourself in a proper way where it doesn't take over your life and um, teaches you how to avoid, becoming grandiose with your kind of ideas and how you communicate with people. Um, but people aren't willing to do that because one, it's too hard. And two, it's easier and more stylish to do what's local. It brings people in a group um, that's almost a replacement for church because they're disillusioned with that. And I have my problems with that too. Believe me, I it's just as bad.
What's that? What's that?
Yeah, church, religion, it's pretty awful. I mean, people don't want to hear it. However, it's a very, very simplified kind of view of the unseen world, how ritual works, and the mechanics of everything. Not to mention, it's completely demagogic. It's nothing that they think it is. And
And at least it
part
teaches people to give it some to at least have some respect for it. I think there's at least some value in that where people at least can, I mean, if they're serious about it, at least to a certain extent, they can acknowledge that there's something there that needs to be respected. Whereas the more modern materialistic side of things just, is happy just to pretend it's not there and steamroll over it and ignorance is bliss sort of thing.
What do you mean? Well, I mean, it's always this. That's always been the structure. It's always been to control people and not liberate them. The idea that and now, let me just say first, I know, and I'm sure it does help people. It does. Oh, we lost Graham.
He's probably just having cat
Oh,
problems
there you go. Ah, cat. Oh, we love cats.
Some of them.
sometimes.
Um, no, I am aware it helps people. Very good people come from these things. I mean, very good people are part of the church, right? But however, the structure of it fundamentally is that of control, and that's what it was foundationed based on. Don't do this, only do this. Every other type of exploration and anything else is blasphemy. And just looking at something else is blasphemy. So don't look at it. But what it's designed to do is to keep people away from their potential or, yeah.
What about
It's like you get your spiritual gifts after you die. That's when everything comes. Until then, just trust everything you hear.
what about non-denominational kind of Christ consciousness type stuff, like not church, but following more of Christ teachings, that kind of thing?
It's a little bit better, but like I said, it's still, as long as the people there are open-minded, it's fine. However, this belief system it's still, keeps you within this kind of spiritual structure and worldview instead of when you maybe start practicing something more mystic, You forget about everything you've ever learned because you sort of have to, because it's different. It's completely different.
Well, so
And
what's
and let's
no,
look at, sorry for interrupting you,
no,
but
no,
and let's look at it from a scientific perspective too. On the verge of every science that's ever been discovered, there were conceived notions about what they were. But it always turns out that it's much different than what people actually thought it was. It's the same thing, except even more so because it's so vast and so fragmented and so bizarre from human standards than I could never put into words in a 2 hour podcast.
yeah, totally.
Do you
Well,
think any
what's
of that is misinterpretation and misuse for control? Like, how much of the like do you think there's any? Because some of the tenets that are in the Bible seem all right, and some of them even seem like they could have made sense, or even might be have made sense, in a different world a couple thousand years ago. Or do you think the whole thing's just sort of spun up as a
Well, I don't know how good your ancient Greek is.
It's not great, but I do know
Well,
some
how
people that supposedly speak it.
have they read the original Bible in ancient Greece,
Yeah,
early ancient Greece?
I think did what's his name? What was his name again? Stompin' Tom or what was that? No, it was we had him on the show. He spoke, but yeah, he can read the ancient Greek. So I wasn't able to get totally into it with them, but I
It it might be a good topic just to discuss because the ancient Greek Bible says about the events was translated of the actual Bible. I don't take any of it seriously, other than it being, kind of set up for controlling people. There's no concept of original sin. It's a rebellion against authority, but there's none of this there. It's just not there.
so they
no,
change it all
I mean
later
He,
on?
he changed. He changed it. Yeah, he changed a lot of it.
a lot of it reads like more of a sort of a weird account of history using words we might not fully understand. And there does seem to be some stuff in there that if you do this, it might get kind of shitty for you. And if you do that, it might not. So, I mean, that's where it kind of seems like it got hijacked along the way. But it would be good to be able to speak ancient Greek. I wonder if that's something
Uh,
you do on
it's
Dewey.
not my thing. I've had someone do it for me, fortunately. So I'm not. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not an expert on it, but yeah, I know that to be true. It was changed. There's no hell in it. You don't condemn yourself for original sin, and there's a bunch of other stuff too. But like I said, I'm not well studying in it. I do other things because it doesn't necessarily help me.
Would that be considered Greek Orthodox then? Is that what the Greek Orthodox would
No,
follow?
no,
Or no,
no.
that's even
It's
deeper.
all
That's way
changed.
deeper than that,
Well,
even, right?
it departed, right? And yeah, it has nothing to do. I think it's before that.
Before all that,
He was the same. Yeah,
yeah.
Constantine changed it,
That's crazy, eh? Yeah.
and it's still used the same. So if um, anyone ever quotes the Bible on you and about original sin, you just say, "Well, how come it doesn't talk about that in the original Greek Bible?" Well, they're stumped.
You got to wonder if
They've
those
never
people
heard
that were
that.
like fucking with it back in the day had any idea of the implications of it, that it would get so far reaching. Or like at the time, they're probably just trying to deal with some fucking local problem. And now we're just still dealing with it a couple thousand years later. It's like, thanks, buddy. Thanks, Constantine.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. He wasn't the best person from my understanding. He didn't follow those tenets himself.
And yet, in some ways, it's also been, I don't know how to say this, healthy for society in a lot of ways too. That they have Christianity. I mean, compared to some some other ones. I mean,
You mean like here? You mean like here in Japan, where like one thing that happens in America every day, like 5 times a day, maybe happens once a year here. I mean, is it that great? Because the idea instilled in people is that whatever they do, they're going to be forgiven. So it's like whatever. As a matter of fact, the cartels believe in that more than anyone else. So they take that to heart.
well, I think the whole like love. I mean, I think that sort of some of the original liberal tenets that Western civilization was kind of founded on, like you know, loving your neighbors and treating people the way you want to be treated. Like some of those basic things that we're now losing. We're now losing. I mean, I don't think materialism helped that at all. I don't think the Enlightenment helped it. I
But
feel like
has it ever really been like that? Maybe perhaps up in Canada, it used to be for a while,
it used
but
to be
I
for
don't
a
know about
while.
other places.
I would say probably the biggest one is just the free will aspect of it, man. If they could get those fucking words out of there, they would probably be happy to do that now, because that's been extrapolated into a lot of different directions that's been a pretty hard genie to put in the bottle. And Japan does seem pretty great, but I mean, you still got to put the West and the most of the West in the top three in its heyday for I mean, I'm living in Canada. That's kind of turned into a communist nightmare most of the time. But when I still do some traveling around here and there, I'm like, yeah.
I think Japan's been very good at balancing that, where it doesn't actually make you force you to comply to do things, right? It sort of asks you, and you could check out anytime you want, and not have to. People have an idea of like, oh, Japanese, they work for 20 hours a day. That's crazy. They're not free, but anyone could quit anytime, and in fact, people do, because you get a place for 150, $200 a month here. It's very low, and the landlords do not raise the rent, because the idea of housing being like an investment is like it's alien here. It's like housing is a dwelling.
Yeah, yeah,
But in America, every year the landlord calls, I'm raising the rent $200. I'm raising it $100. It's a system, the whole Christian system. You could say it's based on, enlightenment or that. And you know, um, what's that called? Capitalism, which is fine, but it's turned into this system where it just tries to squeeze everyone dry,
yeah,
and it doesn't do that here.
yeah. Based on perpetual growth and all that. Well, but
Yeah.
how is Japan? How is Japan dealing with their? I mean, there's a lot of headlines right now about the fertility rate in Japan falling, and it's under some collapse. Now, I don't know if that's like, fear.
A lot of them in the war. I mean, that definitely didn't help.
I mean, that was a long time. Well, I mean, it rose after quite a lot because there was a baby, there's baby boomers here too.
Yeah.
And it
Because
peaked in the 80s and 90s.
Are they worried about that there?
The population collapse, of course, that has a lot to do with just people's mindsets. I think a lot of Western influence. People think that they have to be rich to do anything. It's like, I don't have enough money to raise kids, but they don't realize how expensive it is in the West to do anything. And I think it has to do with, people just not being happy because they, see things in the media and they think that's the embodiment of everything. Old people here will differ. They'll say like it's like the greatest thing. Having a family and kids was like the greatest thing I've ever decided. But young people don't see it that way because of, I blame social media.
They've lost that ability to just be optimistic. It's like
People have lost the ability to be optimistic. If you watch the reality shows here,
like, yeah, it's going to be expensive. Having that kid and having that second kid, third kid, going to be expensive. But you know what?
But it's not.
Everyone fucking figures it out. There seems to
It's
be
not. It's not that expensive though,
no,
because you can get rent here
exactly.
for $200. It's
Or
really,
I mean,
really low.
even any place else. It's like people can say it's too expensive to have kids. Man, I know people that aren't making a lot of money that got 5 kids, and they're
And they're fine.
and
Yeah,
they're
the kids will
totally
do great.
fine. It's like we've sort of lost this ability as a culture. I don't know about there, but definitely here to just be like to sort of just man up. And it's like, yeah, well, it's gonna be tough. We're gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And yeah, that's the problem here. It's Japan has its problems. I don't want people to think that it's just this
Well, that
paradise.
seems to be a global problem, honestly.
It's a
That's
global
a
problem.
global problem.
I think there's definitely stuff doing that to us. Um, and yeah, the new age isn't helping.
What do you mean? So you're getting into some dark
Like the
forces
things
then?
want to take over. The things want to take over our bodies. They're putting. People are going and looking in all sorts of directions to find truth, but fundamentally, um, it has more to do with the human potential. Um, me doing these clearings and these healings. Um, people are taken aback. They don't know what to think about it because they've never heard anything about it. And this is initially why how I realized that these people might be hostile, not the people themselves. I should say that they're fooled, or these things that they're channeling might be hostile, is because they never talk about purification. They never talk about how deep it can go and what it does. They talk about killing in very, very simple terms, where it's like, we will give you the technology to do this and this and this when humans are ready for it. We won't. I think I heard, what's his name, Bashir, say, we will not give you what you want. We will give you what you need when you are ready.
Yeah.
It's nonsense because it's not helping anything.
Right.
And another thing I've noticed too is that I came into this. I started going to the Conscious Knife Expo, doing like these big groups there, and I had this idea that, well, someone who has like a following that's like really huge or big, they'll promote me, and if they're smart, they'll just kind of like say like, see what can be done. You could do this if you do, but they don't. They're thinking, well, if I promote this person, everyone that follows me or buys from me will go to this guy, and we don't want that. So, well, that and the entities attached to them kind of block that too. So,
Interesting.
mhm.
So where was I going to go with that? What can you just talk a little bit more about the mechanics of how the purification works? Then, like if somebody's, you know, if you're doing it to somebody, like let's say, like what happened yesterday, like with Maria.
Okay.
You're on video, you're doing the purification, but how does it actually like affect the person?
Okay, so people have energetic bodies. They have the kind of, the new Buddhist idea, which is kind of prevalent here, about the energetic body being your nervous system. While it does connect to that, there's a more subtle energetic body that's almost like, well, I mean, it is an internal universe.
The
That
ethereal
is your
body, is it
soul.
the same thing?
Ethereal body that is miniature universe that's also vast, but it's miniature, and it's exists in layers and almost like threads that wrap around the body, and you purify those and remove intrusions. As you remove the intrusions, your body and your nervous system reconnects to your soul. Some people have more impurity than others, so it takes longer, and others have an impossible amount where it reacts faster than I could actually finish working on them. Because as I work on them, you could only do so much at once. Because if you pull everything out of that system at one time, it will, harm the person, and the spirits know that. So, yeah, which is
So
how curses work. Good ones. Like, this is why I don't buy the idea of, the elites doing ritual and things like that. Right? There are people around the world, more so doing that could heal, that can lash out on just people around them and in them like that. There's more of that than people being able to feel like this, just because it's easier to
yeah.
do, and they feel empowered doing it, and it's existing. They have to be empty to a point where things within them aren't conflicting. Does that make sense? But they're already predispositioned to be able to hold those kind of currents and have them move through them. So it's still yin energy, but it's a corrupted kind.
So how do you know about this? Like you mentioned before that the spirits, like sort of the animistic spirits, can come in and do their work. But how do you either protect from the negative ones, or how do you tell the difference between? How do you trust what spirits are there? Is that just part of your practice that you learn how to
Part of the practice, you
discern
learn how to
between?
do it. You avoid stuff that make grandiose promises, which people are easily flattered by. I've had a very, very hostile spirit be very, very convincing about things. I mean, some of them can be very convincing. I mean, they're smarter or much older than us. So it's better to disengage. And that's why lineage is so important too, because you are not just building off yourself, you're building off the lineage before you, and it's trial and error. That's why lineage is important. People often say, well, I don't need a teacher, I just do it myself. I learned from Sue, who's a great lady and lives and has a healing center in Malibu.
So there's a
And
connection,
I
like
used to be there.
so there's
Yeah.
like an astral connection to that lineage,
There's an
not just
astral collection to, well, let's say this, for example, the Catholic Church has a denomination of exorcists, but they are part of a lineage, and they can actually exorcise people. They may not be channeling what they think they're channeling, as far as they never use that term, God, but they still have the power to do the exorcism because they are part of that brotherhood, and they try to maintain a certain purity, so that things cannot attach to, certain hooks within their energetic body. And that's
supposedly
why
they've got that.
priests are able to exorcise others, while the laymen cannot do it because they're not trained and they're not part of that lineage or brotherhood.
Yeah, one of our recent guests, I think he was saying that that's one thing that they do right, or that they do well, I guess maybe is how I should say it, as the exorcisms. They get
Well,
that.
what happens is, so people, they have, this image of the Catholic Church that are outside of it is something that's very, very, I won't say it here because you don't want to get, thrown off your platforms. But yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
However, for that certain denomination or group, you can't have anything lingering within your energetic framework that something could grab onto, because it'll use it to destroy the person like that. So in that case, the priest or the exorcist has to have a certain level of personal purity. And there's a way to detach the hooks, which I call them, that people are predispositions to by living a very, very mundane life, which is why I think many mages or healers, like the Korean guy you mentioned, live out in the woods. So things can't get to them.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I'm very, very lucky to have a spirit like Amaterasu helping me as part of that lineage.
Right.
Just because her command reaches so vastly
Yeah, he
across the
just
spirit world. Go ahead.
yeah, to go back to that because I don't think we talked about it while we were recording, but I was mentioning how it reminded me of this Korean healer in the woods. He lived in the woods in Maple Ridge, and he healed my sister's friend's back. Like he had a
Mhm.
really really bad back injury, and he healed that. And there was people that were starting. It was starting to spread a little bit. Like this guy's a legit healer. This is back in the
Mhm.
'90s.
Mhm.
And now that I think about it, he actually had a meditation group called the Atlantis Foundation. Darren, I forgot all about that. He had this whole thing where he was, but he would meditate like 10, 12 hours a day or something like that. And
Mhm.
but it was now that I think about it, it was also very new age. So it was. I don't know where the difference was between kind of like almost like a Buddhist style meditative practice because he was also he was kind of a vegan or a vegetarian, or at least he would say a pescatarian. He would say be a pescatarian, not necessarily a. You don't have to be vegan, but there's levels
He
of consciousness to the animals. But the main thing was he was astounded that people because he knew that he was healing people. And he
Mhm.
healed my dad from. My dad came out of palliative care with cancer and went traveling with my mom down to the States for 6 months. So, I mean, it didn't cure him, but it got him out of palliative. But anyways, he was astounded that people weren't lining up at the door to see him. Like that he thought that he would go there to the West to help people and people would be lining up to heal. And he was just like, where is everybody?
So yeah, the issue is first faith healers. Um, that's been kind of discredited very easily because nothing's happening there. Second is Reiki healers. It's a sham, and people think that that's healing. They'll think of healing as being that. So when you say, "Hey, I can get rid of that for you," so now I have a healer. It's that sort of thing. Or Jesus heals me. They don't know how to kind of um,
Well, I think back then they didn't even believe it, to be honest. Like it was more of it wasn't the more of like, oh, I already have this healing. It was like, no, no,
they
no, that doesn't work in this.
they didn't believe it because there was a time that people actually believed in faith healers,
Yeah.
and that turned out to be a fraud. And people they didn't come from a place, and they still don't thinking, oh, I've never heard of that. Let's try it. They think of it, oh yeah, I've heard of that. That's been proven to be fraudulent.
But you think those
So
faith
that's where
healers,
I'm
you
starting
think those
from.
faith healers from the 16th, 1700s would have hundreds of people coming from all villages all over to them? You think they were for all frauds or?
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, 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 yeah.
How does placebo fit into this?
The only yeah, well, that's what it was, right? That's what it was.
So isn't that
Um,
the ultimate goal? Are the spirits utilizing the placebo effect, or are they just you tricking my spirits into doing it somehow? Because ultimately, it seems like that's the big elephant in the room. Is if I can get myself on board with all of my shit together and believe that things can happen, then they tend to trend in that direction. Maybe not always at the speed or the force that we want them
yeah,
to, but you can sort of just keep nudging it over until you're somewhere completely different.
yeah, that's what it is, and that's what that's designed around. It's spectacle, right? It's pulling someone in front of a congregation in a wheelchair that doesn't need a wheelchair and saying, "Look, I healed this person." I mean, that's a thing. Um, that's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so my so I and I want to get into other types of like healings experienced over the years and other people able to do stuff like this Korean person that you mentioned. It's a very fascinating and very interesting that you hear that. I'm sure he may have actually had people lined up in Korea. And for him, the assumption was probably, I'll take it to the West and I'll teach people there too, so they can have this too. Because in Korea, he learned from someone, obviously, and other people around him. So he wasn't just leaving his community and giving them no other direction to go. He left them with, options at the time. I'll get into Korea if you want a little bit later. But these types of practices, they're based on a lineage and a legend and folklore that people have heard of before. So they have something to kind of relate it to, other than something that might be, even if they don't believe it, it's like, oh, I heard all these stories, so let's give it a try. In America or the West, people are thinking, yeah, I've heard of doing stuff like that. That's the devil. And I don't have anything to do with it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure people in the town would be like, oh, that Korean guy, he's like a Buddhist or he's a Zen practitioner or something. He's going to hell. He's Satan. He's trying to. And what's interesting about that, Korea has really kind of, as it's kind of embraced consumerism, when it's hyper consumerism, even more so than the US now. It's very commercialized. They even have the same type of, medical system where if you get sick or hurt, it will put you in crushing debt, bankruptcy. They have that there now, and it's coincided with the spread of Christianity there and the loss of its traditional type of traditions and systems. So it's not necessarily a good thing because it is soul crushing there, and it's all about money. And people actually put value in their income or others' income and have plastic surgery as an investment. That's how shallow it's become.
Wow. So when we were communicating back and forth, I mentioned, we had talked before on the show 2022, I think, about a whole bunch of different stuff. But you said something like it's gotten much worse than you thought, or something like that. So that was
In what regard?
well.
I don't remember what I was talking about, but yeah, I know more stuff now. But yeah, it's probably been more. It's probably gotten worse.
I think I think that was the battle, the spiritual war that we're in. I think is probably
Yeah, I fight so much stuff. People are giving too much power to these ETs. They're not demons. They're something else, and they want our bodies. They want our
on our
bodies.
bodies,
The
physically or
ships, huh?
physically or
Yeah, they wanna kick out our souls and take them for ourselves. It's what they once lost. Like the stuff in the sky, it's working through our perception. We see it through our own perception. It's not physical. That's why these are orbs in the same way that, or the majority of them, depending on astrological cycles and location, how much energy is in a certain area. They're orbs in the same way people who have a lower but higher perception see orbs in a cemetery. It's all supernatural stuff. They're seeing people don't see the sky. These things, their technology is stronger than ours, and they can get away with more. It's easy to focus on a lone pilot or astronaut, even if it's with a camera, and be photographed in a little bit more of a detailed manner. But it's why these things never land. It's why it's not like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or not that one. What's the one with Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, So is that one, and they land and they talk? That's why it's not like that, and why these sightings are very isolated. And people who are abducted, they feel like they're experiencing it physically, but they're actually brought into the astral in a very vivid experience and experimented on that way with that goal of, well, how can we're working on, um, through integration, being able to, um, disrupt the human reincarnation system and go into ourselves. And they're doing that by pushing us into, a direction that they went into, and they lost their bodies.
Huh. That's I might need to get you to explain that a little bit more about the last part. So what are they? They're stopping the reincarnation process and basically disrupting like the soul from our body, kind of thing,
Yeah, so they could just take them over.
over the bodies,
Yeah.
kind of a transhumanism type thing.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, if you listen to this, if you listen to channelers very closely, they'll tell you to let them do that. They'll say, take them, they're going to want to do something. You guys have to let them in. And the Starseed program, these hybrid programs people talk about, it's not for, our benefit. It's for these things. And it's a very, very full, it's like these folks have never seen a movie before.
So what about the humans that are traveling around in these crafts that are uh
Some of them are,
beyond our
some of them
comprehension,
are.
right? I mean, there's a breakaway. There's a faction of like breakaways, sort of a breakaway civilization that's sort of combined with this whole UAP phenomena, right? So I totally get what you're saying, because it seems like it's a bit of a distraction, because there's factions of us using technology that's suppressed from everybody else. So how
Mhm.
is that going to come out at all? Like what's
It
happening in our?
but is there, or is it just something to make people look in the other direction and give up the
No, there is. I
rights?
mean, I know too many people personally that have seen big black silent triangles flying through the sky, like not B-2 bombers,
Oh yeah,
not
they have new stuff, but I mean they've been building that stuff for a long time. They've been
well, is
building
I
that
guess
stuff for a long
I
time.
guess what I'm
And if
getting at
there's
is there going to be a disclosure at all then? Is this going to come
no,
out?
no,
I
there's
mean,
not going to be, because there's nothing, other than, releasing and showing that, hey, we have this type of new technology. Then no, no, because they they like the people who think they might be in contact with things or making deals with things, they're not really. They don't have the. Um, they're not getting
authority.
anything.
Authority.
They're not giving what they think they're. They, how can I put it? They're not getting what,
The deal that they think they're
they think
making.
they're making. Yeah, they're not getting it because these things have something else in mind.
Right. So they're in control.
Um,
The others are in control of this
they're in
whole phenomenon.
control. The people who do it, who might be making certain deals and things, um, or learning different things. So, and it doesn't even take an extra terrestrial civilization to, teach or give this type of stuff. It only takes, an amount of possession or partial possession to make someone think that they're doing it all themselves, which is usually the case. And why, many public officials and military people who, get into stuff, don't really recognize it because it's not really there for them. Like I know someone who is stationed at Area 51 and has been through every bunker there, every hangar there, because that was his job. And he's like, there's just nothing there. And, people would say, well, that's because they didn't let him in the secret place, right? But there's just something to be said about, taking over human perception and being able to, use it to one's own advantage and making it seem very real. And to me, that's most likely what's happening. A combination of partial possession, some of that, and yeah. So, as someone who does this, what I do, um, a lot of these experiences that people who are having these visions or experiences, I should say, just sort of come to them by happenstance. It might be because of their job, or it just happened, or it was an awakening. Um, the idea, at least traditionally, or how it should be, is that you make this stuff happen by your own will, and you travel to where you need to go and do certain things. And I will tell you, but like part of this practice and healing practice that I do, what they're experiencing and what they're describing as being real, I went over on this ship, I did this and that, is something that you can do on other planes of existence as a practitioner who gets really deep into occult, and I'll get into that in a second, occult study and practice and ability with the predisposition to be able to do a lot of it. Anyone could do it. However, um, it's not as effortless for other people than it is for others.
Yeah. What about your should we just touch on your book again a little
Sure.
bit more, or about your
Would you
practice, or like
would
make
you
sure
have
you just
questions about that? Because it's a part of my practice I don't normally talk about. Like, you can go to extraterrestrial realms, and you could go to demonic realms, and you could go to other places with other sorts of things. You could go to places where things that are described that have that no one's ever even seen or heard of before.
well, I
Or you
think
could go to more traditional things that are almost like Middle Earth type place. There's lots of places like that, and because of that, the system that these ETs have put in, that's the majority and the most upfront type of um,
other
edge of
realm.
unseen procession, yeah, that people are experiencing the most. And they're misinterpreting it as something that that's physical, like you and me. They are physical, but they aren't. They can appear that way. And it's very, very, very strong. As just like, and let me give you an example. So I'm healing people, right? And they feel like things moving and going off, things being pulled from them. So I am attaching to your perception so that you can perceive what's happening. In the same way that these entities who are more technologically advanced could play with human possession or perception on a wide scale. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the last time we talked, we mentioned you were talking about how when you enter those realms, you're a glow, like you're a glowing light. You're a beacon to the. You have to be careful. So, I mean, how do you, or how do people? I mean, should you even go to those other realms if you're
You
gonna?
can, if you're trained to use magic, you could burn that. You could burn things. You could use wind. You could bring familiars. You can do. There's a lot of things you could do.
Yeah,
And as you practice, you get stronger over time, so you don't get overtaken by different things.
yeah,
Because we have a foundation. Like I said, these things are smarter than us because they're much older. If you have because we have a foundation in the physical world, where we do very well in these places if we know what to do. Like ETs, I burn them with fire. I burn them. They're one thing that they fear is that humans will realize that they can do stuff like that.
yeah.
Right. That's why,
Our capabilities have really been squashed. It seems.
yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. And I part of the reason why I'm able to do what I'm able to do is I've been able to identify, um, for whatever reason. I mean, I have reasons. I don't want to get into today, but the system within my own energetic body and what was keeping myself from being able to access that because of stuff doing that to me, so that I can't do that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the idea is that we're able to do these things, but because our soul is so detached from the physical world, and there's something doing that to us, and it's the system, and it's these inorganic systems that are doing it. And it's also why you never hear me talking too much about the Illuminati or secret societies, things like that, because it's inconsequential. There's things doing that to them, and it's not what they think. Second, their magic sucks, and then third, it's like it's it's not it's the Christian perception of the enemy. They have to have a enemy, therefore that's why they, um, you know, place it. They promote it more than anything else.
But wouldn't these entities use those infrastructures of these societies to
Yes, they
control things?
Yes, they do, but they don't do it to these people. These guys and they're so you have to reach a certain level of, have to say, say consciousness, even if you're a very, very awful person, to even perceive what's going on. And there's no one in politics. Probably the military is too busy. All you do is work your butt off to be able to reach that level. So I'm very, very skeptical that about a group of people are able to just go in and do that.
Well, it would be more of the people that are trained like you are in sort of more of like, let's say, and not that I mean this society specifically, but as an example, like the Rosicrucians or the Templars or the Masons who are actually have gone through spiritual initiations and levels of training
But the,
about consciousness.
but the initiations aren't going to do very much if you're not you have a predisposition to them, or if you don't put the time in. Like,
Yeah.
there's no secret key to just turning it on and being able to do it. And the ritual structure in these places isn't the long key either. It's
Yeah.
just not. It's
Yeah,
just
and
not
I'm
there.
not disagreeing with you. I'm just wondering.
I understand.
It's an
Now,
interesting.
I don't want to say that like the rituals and things aren't they don't do anything, but it's not near as powerful as what people think it is.
Yeah.
It's mostly stuff for that practitioner themselves. People in the West are locked into the American or Western business where that's everything. It bleeds you dry. I think I just mentioned that. And it's just for them. And I think that's why you see a lot of the corruption in corporate America and in the West. And it's because people are very, very worried or almost frightened that they're going to lose it all at any time. And
Yeah.
they very often do. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And they just, they get desperate.
So how can people learn more about your work, learn more about purification? Like let's so
So
you
I do
say,
usually I do it on the shows if you want to do one with your audience. So I do it. I do them every day through YouTube. I have a book on Amazon. It's so I don't. One of the things I'm very, very careful of is I don't want people like following me and putting me up on this thing where I have all the answers and they have to, like, I don't want to be people's guru. I'll teach them and I will work with them, but the book itself is to get people started on their own practice so they could start learning things and seeing things and achieving a level of balance and start um, recognizing their own kind of energetic system and working with it. And yeah, that's basically what my book is. It's very simple. Um, a lot of systems or teachers, they overcomplicate things, but the practice is very easy. The people, while they're doing it, they come to the group, um, and I do the purification for them because it's not only just a purification for them so that they are able to develop, it also keeps them on the current so that when they're starting to work and they get more advanced, they're not running into hostile beings.
On the current, as in the flow.
On the current, so magical systems, they exist on currents.
Yeah.
And within currents are different types of entities that connect to different realms. So while you do this, it's a Shinto current
Okay.
with the
Yeah.
kami on Amaterasu. And it's also the closest current to this physical world, spiritual current. So that's why it's so strong with the healings.
So strong with the what?
The healings we're doing, that's
Oh,
why
the
people are
healings,
healed so
healings,
strongly. Yeah.
healings. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it has those effects.
Okay.
So it does work. How much more time do we have?
Darren, how much time do you want to do a
Sure.
quick thing? How long did it take? 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
8
can do that.
minutes.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, do you guys have any pain or anything like that, or anything you're dealing with?
I'm still a bit
Okay,
stuffed up from a sickness.
still stuffed
My
up.
head's a little.
COVID.
How about you, Darren?
I'm doing all right, I think.
All
The
all
back
right.
feels
So,
better, but it's been cold as shit and I've been hunting, so
all
just
right. And since we are live, I'm gonna explain this a little bit. So everyone, for this isn't quite a meditation, although you can meditate with it, and later on you might do during your own practice. That is the practice. But this is a purification, and you want to lie down for it. It could be very strong, it could be very intense. Some people might feel nothing, but that's quite rare. And it depends on how your energetic bodies are structured. There might be emotional shifts. Basically, just let the energy work. Listen to my voice, but don't try to get caught up into it to try to figure out what I'm saying because it'll be Japanese. And just let what you feel work. Notice, but don't react. Make sense? Any questions, guys? No questions. Okay, here we go. You can Don't force your mind. If you need something worked on, just let it kind of flow to it. Let your thoughts flow to the issue that you're having, and the kami will respond to that. Here we go. Close your eyes, breathe. Amaterasu mi oyano kami no misu maru no inochi terashi kuni shizuka nari amaterasu mi oyano ち照らし、急に静かなり。高天張にかむずまります。かむらき、かむらみなみこともして、すみみ、おやかむ、いざなぎの神つくしの、ひまけの、立ちばねの、おどの、あわぎがはれに、みそき、はらい、たまいし、ときに、ありませる。はらいどの、お神たち、もろもろのまがごとつみかいりを、はらいたまい、きやめたまいとますことのよしを、あまつかみ、きにつかみ、やお、よりずの神たちともに引っ越しますと、かしこみもまおす。たかあまはりにかむずまります。かむらき、かむらみのみこともして、すべみ、おえかむ、いずなぎの神つくしの、ひまかの、立ちばねの、おどの、あおぎかはれに、みそき、はらい、たまいし、ときに、あれませる。はらいどの、お神たち、もろもろのまがごとつみかぎりを、はらいたまい、きよめたまいと、まうすことのよしよ。あまつかみ、きにつかみ、やよりずの神たちともに引っ越しますと。かしこみもまおす。たかあまはりにかむずまります。かむろき、かむろみのみこともして、すめみ、おyeかむ、いざなぎの神つくしの、ひまかの、立ちばなの、おどの、あおぎかはるに、みそき、はらい、たまいし、ときに、あれませる。はらいどの、お神たち、もろもろのまがごとつみかぎりを、はらいたまい、きよめたまいと、ますことのよしを、あまつかみ、きにつかみ、やよりずの神たちともに引っ越しますと。かしこみもまおす。どうその神、あまてらしま、せめみ神なみめによ、伝えて教え導きのたまわく。人はすなわち、神とのもとの主であり、何時らの紳士の痛ましむることなかれ。この家に目にもろもろの風情見て、心にもろもろの風情見ず、耳にもろもろの風情に触れて、心にもろもろの風情に触れず、心にもろもろの風情を思とも、中心にもろもろの風情を思わず、この時に記憶潔きことあり、もろもろのノリは影と形のことし、記憶清ければ気が出ることなし、ことをたらばうべからず、皆花よりずの身となる。我が身はすなわち六根処女なり、六根処女なるがゆえに、ごぞの真君兄なり、ごぞの真君兄なるが、ゆえに天地の神と男なり、天地の神と男なるが、ゆえに万物の霊と体なり、万物の霊と体なるが、ゆえになすところにごて成就せずということなし、無常霊法、真珠仏教、天上無教、名誉入賞、神が律、払いたまい、清めたまい、守りたまい、先はいたまい、照らしたまい、導きたまえ、高間の春にかむずまります。すめ神たち、いやわらしたも、特殊の水の宝持ちって、あまてる国てるひけあめのほあかり、きしたま、ねぎはやひのみことに、しずけたもこと教えてとたまわく、いましこの水の宝持ちって、中つくににあまくだり、あひとぐさ沈め、収めよ。 青人草およびよりずのものの山のことあらば、噛む宝を持ちて、見下いた沈めに起きて、見たま沈めの祭りをなして、水の宝を振るべ、その噛むほうぎの言葉に曰く、火のい火のと、火のい火のと、土のい土のと、かのいかのと、水のい水のと、ひふみよいむなやことにのとふるべゆるいらかく祈りせばまかるともさらにきなんとしてたも雨の神の御や御事のりかけたまいて雨の岩国に乗りて河内の国の川上の光る画面に天下りましまして大和の国、引きの山のふもと、白庭の高庭に移しましまして月祭りとも名付けて、イースの神のお神と申し立て祭り。よよ噛む宝を持ちて、夜ずの者のために、古べの噛むことを持ちて、すかすなしたゆえの古の御霊の神と、敬い、立て祭り、すめみことおもらじおとどその神たけきを持ちて、いつきに使え祭りとも、物の上の神の社雨がした、よりずの者のたごいなり、いてもっと噛む宝は、いわゆる、おきつ鏡、平つ鏡、やつぐの剣、いく玉、たる玉、まかる返しの玉、し返しの玉、おどちのひれ、はちのひれ、くすくすのもののひれ、さらにとくすの神、木のい木のと、火のい火のと、土のい土のと、かのいかのと、水のい水のと、ひふみよいむなやことにのとふるべゆらといらかしたてまつることのよしをもちて平らけくきこしめせと命長く子孫はね時はかきわに守りたまい先はいたまいかじたてまつり人数人名心力かじかながらとまちやませ。かながらとまちやませ。かながらとまちやませ。Alrighty, there you have it.
Excellent.
Oh,
How
that
do you
was
guys
well
feel?
done. Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Good. It
Yeah,
has a lighting effect. So if you're not sick or anything like that, it has that lighting effect. And be assured, everyone has impurity that needs to be removed because that's the structure of the world that we live in. It's a farm. We're a farm for beings that are taking advantage, and they're able to do that because no one's doing anything about it, or not enough people know how to. I mean, I
Right.
can't do everything myself.
Right. Good point.
Absolutely. Excellent stuff. Benton, where can people follow you? Where can they find out more about this stuff? Where
Or
can
On
not
my
follow you?
channel?
Where can
Yeah.
people not follow you?
Well, I'd like to, I would like to, people need to know stuff. And I do need to help them initially, but I mean, I'm just a teacher, I'm not a leader, I'm not special in that way. I don't have some type of divine authority that sort of baptizes people. That I'm no one's gateway to higher dimensions. Right. I'm just showing people that there's a way to do it and how to do it and helping them build that structure so they could continue on their own journey. I mean, it's awkward because I feel like there's so many people taking advantage of being able to do something and showing people, and then thinking it's the greatest thing in the world, and listening to everything that person's saying. So I'm trying to be very careful about that.
Yeah.
You could find me Benton Ryer, YouTube, Benton the Mage on Instagram, Facebook. Um, and yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do these every night. If you know anyone that's sick, if you need more attention, you could go to esotericshinto.com or bentonryer.com. And Esoteric Shinto is under construction. And purchase a one-on-one session. I only charge $60. The reason why I do that is because people in Hollywood who can't do anything really charge $1,000, $2,000. It's pretty disgusting. And because a person can feel a little bit of energy moving around, or like a little brush on their face, they think something like really happened. But that's why I don't do that. And yeah.
And people can listen to this in the future, right? And the podcast format.
They can listen to the future.
Also,
it's timeless. You can edit it and make it its own video and just say, hey, do this healing. You could introduce it and just be like, talk about it, go to it. Then wasn't that great? So you could do a bunch of stuff with it. So yeah, it's still good. It'll always work.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. It's good chatting with you again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Keep in touch and we'll do it again.
For having me again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Benton. We hope you have a good day over there. And thanks for coming on the show. Come back anytime. We appreciate it.
All right, cool. I would love to. I mean, there's lots of stuff I could still talk about.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I feel like there's some things we weren't able to expand on, and I would love to. If you would, I wouldn't leave people with one thing. If you're interested in this sort of thing and these ideas, and a little bit about the structure and like this world that I'm talking about that many people probably never even thought about or heard of, you could read the Don Juan books, like The Art of Dreaming or Road to Protexia. I don't know if you've read any of those. He talks about a lot of this stuff. And yeah, I could just recommend that.
All right. Awesome.
And my book.
Yeah,
And my book, The Path of Purification.
Yeah.
Or MISOGI no MICHI. The Path of Purification. Or The Way of Purification.
Way of Purification. Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it's like the translation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we'll put links to all that stuff in the show notes, of course. And Benton, thanks again. Come back anytime. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Ciao. And that was a chat with Benton Ryer, MISOGI no MICHI, The Way of Purification. That was a good one. What'd you think?
Yeah, that was great.
You had firsthand dealings with it already. So
yeah, I was gonna tell you about it, and I'm like, no, I'll just wait. I won't tell Darren pre-show that we didn't have to go to the hospital for Maria's migraine because he had helped. It was quite the experience. Yeah, she's having a really, really good day today. So
well, I'm glad that worked out. Because it has been going on for, I guess, a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah, back and sort of up and down, back and forth, but it was. Yeah.
Well, that's good. We thank Benton for that. We thank him, of course, for coming on the show as well. We thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. Of course, even bigger thanks if you're one of the few who do choose to support us over at grimerica.ca/support. Today, we try to do this as a value for value show. So if you're getting some value from any of the content we've put out, I think this is episode we're coming up on 750. We're getting there quickly. I think we're maybe at 740 or 741 or something like that. But if you're getting some value from these shows at $1 a show, you know where you're at, or even less. Just decide what the show is worth to you. If it's worth anything, head over to grimerica.ca/support today. Sign up for a monthly or make a one-time donation, and we'll keep doing the show. That's sort of the deal that we make to you, is we'll keep doing the show. That's good. We actually got a donation as I was talking about it. So excellent. Thanks, Eric. Big thanks to you guys for keeping the show going. Of course, check out contact@thecabin.com. We got some great events coming up. Easter Island being one of them. If people want to join on that, there's only 7 spots left or 8 spots left. And then we're working on some cool Malta stuff. Of course, we got the Randall Carlson tours we're always doing. And the Serpent Mound Solstice Festival. If you guys want to come check that out, contact at thecabin.com, adultbrain.ca for all the audiobooks and ebooks and all that sort of fun stuff. There's been some good stuff coming up there. And we have some cool stuff queued up for the new year that just hits public domain in January. So we're going to have some cool titles coming out there. I think one is like The Conquest of Happiness or something.
Yeah, and Civilization and Its Discontent. So that's Bertrand Russell and Freud.
Well, there you go. So we're finally getting some Freud into the public domain for you guys. Check all that stuff out. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. Other than that, we love you. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Your mind's on fire, all the color red in a blue lagoon. In a storm in Bermuda, you've dive bombed into a seashell swoon. Maybe your easiest dreams make sweet perfume. While you're yawning, yet not breathing in a hospital room. Should I call for help? We are drowning in this ocean swell. Let's start from scratch, quit living these lies, and become unattached. The idea of some far-off future is the fuel for your worries. But for God's sakes, time is eternal. Please do not hurry. Please do not fret. Please act now in a way that doesn't lead to regret. Please stop smoking so many cigarettes so profusely.